Managing moderators can support your channel in even more ways. Ooh. Today's topic, I wanted to talk about being out in nature, and how important it was for me. But before I get live, I saw this thing pop up on my screen talking about that I could get moderators while I go live. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so hopefully I'm able to get some. Hopefully my internet's good because I'm out near the farm, right? Let's see if I can show you. Show you. Oh, that's backwards. Let's try this way. Right? Or wait. There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh. There we go. So, okay, let's see. Hopefully it shows up in the screen. What up? Computer fast repair. G Marshall. What's going on, guys? So I wanted to talk about, reflecting back to my journey, my 3-year journey. This is where everything was heavy duty. This is where the symptoms were there. It was a shit show. I was consistent, doing the work, doing all the pillars, right? But I think the next couple of weeks, I'll take each pillar and kind of dissect it, right? What do you think of that? So today, what I'll talk about just a little bit. I just want to get online for 20 minutes. We just went into the river, took a little dip, and it reminded me of how much nature was so important in my journey and how much I was in nature. So that's like I said earlier, three years. Let's put this up. All these cars driving by, I can't hear myself not think. Right. So let's break it down. So I had my schedule, I had my pillars, I had my routine every day. How much of my routine was I out in nature? Well, I was doing walk and talks, right? I was doing my visuals, but I'm going to count it as nature because I would park somewhere near a trail where there was nobody around, right? I was by myself with my senior dog at the time, right? And I'd have the windows down, whatever, have my water bottle there, have, windows down. It'd be snowing lightly, or it'd be in the fall, or it'd be in the summer, it'd be raining, right? No matter what, every day, no matter what the season, temperature, rain, hail, didn't matter. I was outside, or out. So in the beginning, the morning, it was like, okay, wake up, make my bed, go brush my teeth, take a shower. I would listen to a Daily Dare, right? Listen to a Daily Dare. Then I would go and I was out the door. First, walk the dog around the block. She was a senior dog, so she could only go around the block. Then we'd go park somewhere and have a meeting with myself. This is where I'd feel the feelings. I'd get organized, right? I'd get my calendar. I don't have it here. I'd get my post-it notes. I'm like, okay, so what are we doing this week? What are we doing today? All right, what are some of the things I might be slacking on? Oh, I could probably improve this, or maybe I could maybe work on that a little bit. I noticed that this happened with this. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's get into my visuals. So I'd get my visuals and I'd be out in nature. Then after I did my hour visuals, sometimes an hour and a half, because I'll be enjoying myself, right? Then I would go on my walk and talks. So I'd go for a walk for 2 hours out in nature. And this was a little later in my journey because I couldn't do this in the beginning, right? So that's a given. You take the pillars, you take the work, and you apply it to where you're at for your situation, and you just start, right? I always got to say that. You start where you're at, and then you put it into a schedule, and then you increase it 20% every other week, right? Or that's up to you. Maybe you can increase it even faster, right? But eventually you'll get to a point where you're walking. And it's not, near the beginning and the middle, it's not so important how far you're walking or necessarily how long, right? It's just that you do it, and you do it every day, and you stick to the routine, right? So for me, I was probably near the first quarter, I was probably going out in nature 3 times a day. So I was rarely indoors. I was out the door doing some of my pillars visuals, walk, come home, lunch, out the door again, walk the dog, maybe go run some errands, and then come home around dinner time, make dinner, I would always dance while I was doing my lunches or my dinners, and then I would have my hour of elevating. Then I'd walk the dog again, and that was it. So I would say near the middle, I was doing the same thing, but I was doing them for longer periods. So I would say my day would probably be, on average, for after the first quarter up to the end of the third year, I was probably 70% or 60% outside, not in the house. This doesn't include sleeping. Sleeping, yeah, okay. I'm talking about daytime, my daily routine. So I was always looking for an excuse to get out also. I would ask anybody, hey, do you need something from the store? No? Are you sure? Tell me anything. I don't care. Well, I was going to get this, but it's okay. I can get it tomorrow. Let's go. I'll go. You can stay here. I'll go get it. Any excuse to get out of the house and to go engage and to, expose myself in the grocery store, run errands, get gasoline, or, also 3 times a week. What else did I do? I went to the beach 3 times a week. Right? 3 times a week. I don't know how I could afford it with the gasoline at the time. But yeah, 3 times a week I went. And hey, how's it going? Yeah, I drove an hour and a half 3 times a week with my senior dog. We went to the beach, and it was always the first 50 times it was a nightmare because you're dealing with traffic, you're dealing with a senior dog that you have to watch over. There's parking, there's other people on the beach, there's noises, there's muscle cars driving by. It's kind of maybe the waves are going, it's kind of windy, it's kind of right. And also the drive up there, hour and a half, there's a midway point where you're like, I could turn around now, I can be safe, I can be home. But now it's now or never, now or never. And then you pass that halfway point, and you're like, shit, you might as well keep going. Then you show up there, you take a second, you're like, okay, we got to get out of the car. We got to actually go to the beach, right? So there's all these different levels of exposure. This is why nature is so amazing, because it also gives you surprise things that happen, because it's like a war zone. When you get out, it's like a war zone, but you need that. That's the exposure you need. You might feel overwhelmed, might be out of your capacity, out of your training zone, but you do it anyway, right? And repetition is huge, right? You get out in nature, repetition. Most of the time it was peaceful. I'd go on my walk and talks. It would be peaceful because I would just talk, walk. Oh, there's a cardinal. Oh, there's a blue jay. Cool. Now look at that house. Why did they paint that garage like that? Why would they, right? You notice things. You get back into your visual, right? You got the thoughts hounding you. You allow them. You pull over a bit and you go, all right, Limby, show me what you got. I know you're bugging me with this thought. Thank you. Send it to me. All right, we're going to process you through my chest and my neck. Okay, I'm going to engage on my walk and keep going. Right? When I went to the beach, it'd be like a beautiful sunny day. Nobody on the beach, right? I get those days, I'm like, man, I'm so lucky. But then, right, those days, the nicest days, of course, you get this cloud that's following you, this cloud of doom following you with these thoughts and these OCD looping thoughts constantly. And in the beginning, when I was going to the beach, I was still doing the old methods of resistance, avoiding, distracting, trying to get rid of, right? Trying to resist my thoughts and stop them. So you can imagine when you try to, what you resist persists, the thought that you're dealing with, the alarm goes, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're literally in this most beautiful part of the world, calm lake. The water's like, it's like a skin, beautiful sun, got a dog that's happy, right? You got snacks, you got a backpack, right? I had like a life jacket on, and I feel like I'm in hell. Right? I brought the storm with me. I'm trying to engage in life. I'm trying to stick to my schedule, but these thoughts are just taking over me. Right? And And eventually I started to learn how to allow, which took some of that energy off the top from like instead of 11 out of 10, it would be like a 7 out of 10, which helped me to engage more in my day to day with being in nature, right? So then that was my flow. Being out in nature mostly 70% 70% of the time of the day was being out in nature, having my thoughts hijack me while I allowed the best that I could. And I brought them with me. I'm like, okay, sit on my shoulder while I go into the water. And then when we get out of the water, we're going to eat a snack, maybe some cheese strings, right? I brought a drink. I'm going to feed the dog, get back into the water. I'm going to allow the thought. Okay, let's get back into the water. Come back sit on my shoulder, right? And then I think we're going to dry off, sit in the sun. Okay, now I think it's time to go home, right? And then be an hour and a half drive, which I liked because it's kind of like the wind down. And I would do visuals while I was driving. I love doing driving visuals. They're driving talks. So there's the walk and talks, and then there's the drive. Any situation that I had where I was by myself, if it was my time, dedicated time to do my visuals, I was sitting in the car, talking them out, my visuals. Or I was doing my walk and talks, right? Right. Or I was driving and talking, right? Nobody's around, just the dog, right? So any opportunity, I was talking to myself. I was talking to myself a lot. And I was in nature a lot. And this is where I became this nature guy. I'm not like hardcore. Like, I don't really like camping. But for me, I like to get like an RV van and have like a van life where I still get Wi-Fi, right? I still get a fridge. I can still have an iced tea, right? And go to sleep. But then when I'm ready, I can just open the door and I see mountains and take a dip in the water, right? And then still go on a laptop and go, okay, what's going on in the comment section? Hey, what's everybody saying? Okay, hey, how's it, right? That's my dream to do every day, right? But during my journey, I was doing a lot of nature stuff. In the wintertime, I was walking no matter what, 10 kilometers in the snow, on the ice. The ice was a little challenging because it was slippery. I had a little bit of a fear, not from falling, but I had fear I would twist something, right? But I overcame it. I did it anyway. So every day, the heat, the rain, there's times with me and my senior dog where we're drenched in the snow, right? And I became a person that loved nature. I loved winters. I never cared for winters before in my life. I loved the cold, right? This is where you're grateful for the small things in life or the present moment, like sitting and just enjoying that bird or the smell or the sun or whatever, because you start to see what you've been missing all your life. All the things you took all the things you took for granted. Because when you have these OCD looping thoughts and they're really taking your attention away and you would wish for nothing more. I wish, if I could just have a moment where, maybe somebody could take my thoughts and just put them on pause so I could just savor this moment. Even just looking at, that tree and the way the sun hits that tree and looking at my dog, the way, it's looking at me and how, oh, I'm going to have a sip of this coffee or this tea or this water and just enjoy it, this moment. I would do anything to have that. And I think it's great when you go through this journey and you can't have that, because you're going to find out the contrast of what you miss in all the years that you took things for granted and didn't give a shit about, right? How many things did we not care about, right? Like if you were to look back maybe 8 years ago, and if I was at the beach, I'd be like, meh, I want to go home. Don't really care, right? I'd be miserable. I was probably miserable at the beach because I was Mr. Miserable, right? And then it came to the point where it's like, oh, I would do anything if I could just be at the beach, or you know what, anywhere without these thoughts going crazy. And then that time happened. I recovered. And believe it or believe it, I would just, what was the highlight of my day? Just going to the local grocery store or the corner store and grabbing something like maybe a snack or an iced tea and coming home. That to me was the best experience because I was free. And then the little things mean something again, right? They mean something again where it's like, oh man, I just feel free. I feel like I'm not being hounded by my thoughts anymore, right? I can eat these chips. I can have a sip of this tea. It's sweet. Oh, I'm just going to take a second. Just, okay. Nothing's hounding me. I don't have a cloud over my head, right? This is where going to the corner store, I know it might sound funny, but you'll probably understand what I mean. Even just going to the corner store feels like it's like you're going to Costa Rica. Because you finally have a chance to appreciate the present moment and not take it for granted, because you've been awakened. This journey, really, seriously, is this journey, you're going through an awakening, right? And you start to realize, man, I can't believe I was like a zombie all these years, taking things for granted. I didn't care about anything. Nothing excited me. I was too busy going on my phone, watching TV, eating food, smoking cigarettes, either drinking and rotting. Just rotting. Now, if somebody, the idea of me sitting at home and rotting in front of the TV, smoking cigarettes, that gives me anxiety. That's like, oh no, that will never happen. I will never do that. And not to say it's just, there's nothing wrong with watching TV, but I've changed as a person where I rarely watch TV. We might have it in the background when we go to sleep. We might have it on Friends, right? And a little bit of nostalgia stuff from the 80s, maybe. But I rarely watch any TV because it's like, I don't really care. Right? And I used to watch all the series. I used to watch, right? So your taste starts to change. Your interests start to change. My music style, I rarely listen to metal anymore. I used to love metal. I used to be in a metal band. I used to be in a lot of metal bands, actually. And then eventually I just got bored. I'm like, oh, I'm so bored of it. Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe because my nervous system's settled down a little bit. It's like, no. Let's just listen to the Doors, right? Or Leonard Skinner, or a little bit of how many times did I go to I went to the concert the other week. Who was it? The other day. What was his name? These eyes. Dun, 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 I'm crying. Burton Cummings, right? Chill music like that, or even reggae, right? Or even music from the 40s, right? That's why I'm on this 40s kick, right? Because I used to put Nemo's Dreamscapes on, or listen to the 40s and pretend I was going through a past life regression before I'd go to sleep. Actually, I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to put Nemo's Dreamscapes on. I'm going to have a little bit of chocolate. I'm going to put the music on from the 1940s, and I'm going to have a bit of a meeting with myself. I'm going to have some active imagination visual, right? This is where you lean back in the bed, have some chocolate. And I'm not saying weed, right? Clear-minded. You can have weed, that's fine. But me, clear-minded, a little bit of chocolate, and escape to the 1940s and pretending that maybe my next life I'll be in the 1940s and just get lost in it, right? Pretend like you can see, like your past parents. They're in the basement. No, not the basement. They're in the kitchen. You're upstairs, right? They're listening to some music. Your dad's having a cigar or a cigarette, and your mom's having a little martini and singing along with the music, right? You're in bed. Your dog's sleeping at the end of the bed. The window's kind of frosted because it's the winter, right? You look out a little bit, the drapes, you can see it's all, right? You're like living in, where are you living? Chicago or Wyoming? Let's say Chicago. Tomorrow we'll say Wyoming, right? And your sister's in the next room. She's 4 years old. You're 7, right? And you just get lost in it, right? And that's where the dose comes in, right? Nostalgia is so amazing. How the hell did I get to this subject? Why was I talking about this? I don't remember, right? But that's what I'm going to do tonight. So let's see. Anybody got any? What do you guys? Today's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, and it's gonna be a beautiful day, right? So, yeah, being grateful again, not taking advantage of or being ungrateful of being in the present moment. That's what I wanted to say. Yes. And you're gonna get there too, right? Some of you have time where you're gonna be like, man, I'm actually gonna get there. And some of you right now that are wishing that you could have just the small times, just the small little moments where you have peace. And this is where, just looking at the wall is just like the best thing in the world. And when it happens, oh man. And then when you do go to beautiful places, it's times a million, right? That's why my goal, I want to travel. This is what I want to do in 2 years, right? I want to get some sort of van or an RV type of thing where there's a bed in it. I'm going to get the Starlink, and I want to try to do podcasts and go across like Canada down to the States and maybe into Mexico, right? And I'll do podcasts every day and travel. Just travel, stop at like mountains, take a dip, and talk about it. And we'll talk about some subject, right, along the way, like I always do in my lives. And then I'll give you guys a tour. That's the goal. But in the meantime, I was also thinking that in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start doing walk and talk videos, right? So I'll press record. I'll have this holder right here. And then we'll start going on. I'll take the dogs for a walk and you guys can come with me type of thing. And I'll upload them so that you guys have something in the morning to wake up to. So, because the fall's coming, the winter's coming. So that'll be cool to, join me on, right? I don't know if I can do them live, but I'll try it. If I can't do it live, I'll just record it and then, post it. But that'd be fun to do walk and talks, and we'll do allow and engage sessions. What do you think? Oh yeah, I can't wait for the fall, right? Because I can still go in the river. We can go on walks, wear hoodies and flannel, right? The dogs aren't overheating. Nature's, I'm constantly out in nature. But in the summer, sometimes I can't. I have to stay in because the dogs overheat. I have to be in the AC, right? So in the fall, like September, October, it's perfect. And then, the ground starts to get frosty, and then the snow comes. Then comes the winter. Peace. Beautiful. So I'm excited. It's going to be good times. So I wonder if YouTube, I usually have a Restream that I use, a program so that you can see what the conversations are, but I don't know if they're showing up. I don't think so. Let's see. I'm going to do some shout outs. G. Marshall, how's it going? Dewey, PhD, pursuing higher dimensions. Love it. Bridget Jones, nice to see you. Nick G, long time no see. Healing seems so hard being pregnant. Any tips? Well, when you're in a survival state, because being pregnant takes a lot out of your system. So, you might expect to get some symptoms usually after people are pregnant. But it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because you found the mind-body space. So just keep doing the work, especially after you've had the baby, and you'll get there, right? Oh, you're taking a walk, right? Meow. Nice. Invite the light. Run up like a douche. Ulcers is definitely caused by stress. Yes, definitely. 1000%. G. Marshall says, I miss nature. Let's see if I press this. Will it show up? Oh, maybe not. Pin message? Let's see what happens if I pin message. Did that work? I miss nature. I can only access it in the winter. I don't have a car to go sit anywhere where it's 50 degrees outside, but winter, no. Yes. Oh yeah, when it's that hot, that's difficult for sure. How did me and Sam cross paths? Let's see. Boom. Well, there was a lady named Jessica who messaged me because I was doing interviews, success stories on my channel back then. And she mentioned, hey, I know this lady who overcame blah, 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 blah. Right. I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll have her on my show. So then I had her on my show and it went really well. And I really liked her personality and view on things because we aligned. A lot of stuff was like, because a lot of people I interviewed, I was like, yeah, I don't, yeah, okay. But I didn't, I let them tell their story and whatever. But with her, we aligned a lot and we would also talk back and forth and shoot the shit. I said, well, you got to have you on again. So I had her on again and then again and then again. And we did Tea in the Trenches and then it just grew from there. CT, hey. Zippy. Yes, expose yourself. Yeah, don't expose yourself in the grocery store. That'd be the next level of exposure. I probably would work. I did not have a job. No, I couldn't work. I was so screwed up. I couldn't. No, yeah, right. I knew a couple of people that did, and they were pretty bad. And I don't know how they were able to do it, but they did it. Simona was one of them. Check out her success story. She's really, really good person. Really, she knows her shit too. She's wicked. Bonjour, Matthias Perrier. Sorry if I screwed that up. Pamela Jean. Yes, yes, yes. Please subscribe. Right? I got 80% of my subscribers, no, 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So wouldn't that be amazing if we could get people to subscribe? And if you want, you can like it. If you want, you can like it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap her up. I know I said that the last time, but the last time I said it like 15 times. Poland, Daria. Regards. Poland is beautiful. I hear it's like so peaceful there. Nature's beautiful there. I want to go there. One day I will go. And I want to go all across the West. Wyoming, Dakota. No, not South Dakota. No. North Dakota? Sure. Where else? Montana. Of course, all the west coast of Canada. Alaska, the Yukon. Where else? Utah. Utah looks like amazing. Where else? Mexico. Costa Rica, right? Wouldn't that be beautiful to go to Costa Rica? I just don't know if it's, going, if it would be safe to drive there through all these other countries. Let's see. There we go. I'm live again. Something happened. I don't know what happened. Really had to. Any doctor's appointments, I only went to the ones that were really important because it just gets the nervous system activated. You know what I mean? So, and then eventually, once you're recovered, you can do whatever you want. Oh, you used to live in Wyoming. I really recommend Jackson Hole. Oh, really? Yeah, Wyoming. It looks beautiful there. West River, South Dakota is pretty nice. Sacred. Oh, I'm gonna write. You know what I like to do? I like to go on Google Maps and just explore. So let's see. Okay, South Dakota. Lakota land. Dakota land. Yep. I lived in Alaska and Utah. No way. The only thing is I don't want to go anywhere where there's too many mosquitoes. That's not. I bet you Alaska and the Yukon have a bug problem in certain areas. Maybe not, right? If you come through Kentucky, give me a call. I'll put you up in a beautiful lake and cook all the foods you can. Oh, wow. Let me look up Kentucky. Let's see how nice that is. Oh, Kentucky is Southern cooking, I'm assuming. So maybe some fried chicken and casseroles and biscuits and shrimp. Ooh, Serbia. Yeah, Croatia too. Because there's mountains there and beautiful. Yes. Love it. Homer, Alaska. I'm going to. Oh man, I'm going to go to all these places. That's happening. Most of them I'm going to drive, bring the dogs. The wife can come depending on her schedule. We'll figure that out, right? I have a friend over in Alaska. Hopefully we'll get to visit someday. Yes. That's awesome. Let's see if I can unpin that. Yes, I can. Cool. Cool. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap her up. It's been amazing seeing you again. Love to love you. Please subscribe. Today is Thursday. I will definitely see you guys Saturday in my normal location. All right, guys, get out there and get uncomfortable.